And now, the world premiere of a new play from author Craig Finseth. The Icebox Radio Theater presents Becky.
Way before. For that matter, I've never been in this part of the woods before.
Yeah, I don't think that many people come out here.
I think it has something to do with the swamp that we had to cross.
I knew there was a path. Besides, I'm the one that got my feet wet. You stayed dry the whole way.
True. At least there aren't any bugs.
I think that last frost got them.
So tell me why we're coming this way again?
Because all the other spots are taken. Tom and Sue are at the pond, Mike and Kathy are at the cliff, Zach and Heather at the dock. There aren't any decent spots left.
I know, but I still don't like it here.
I think we already established that.
And we did have to clamber over that steep hill, and on the rocks, and cross that gulch on the fallen tree. I wonder what we would have done if that tree hadn't just fallen.
Turned around? There isn't any other way out here that I could see.
Stupid tree.
Look, there's a clearing. We can stop there and rest.
Okay. Here's a spot to sit. What now?
A question.
Huh?
Another question.
Huh?
This is getting repetitive.
Who are you?
Where are you?
What are you?
I am the Oracle of Delphi, and I'm in the cave behind you. And as for your last question, I already answered that.
But isn't Delphi in Greece? This is Minnesota.
Yes, I know. I live here after all. I said that I am the Oracle of Delphi, not the Oracle at Delphi. Note the difference.
Wait. If you're the Oracle of Delphi, shouldn't you be speaking, ancient Greek or something? You're talking English, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Would you rather I use Greek, either modern or ancient, or some other language?
No, that's all right. English is fine.
What are you doing here?
Being an oracle.
No, I mean, why are you here rather than in Greece?
I got bored. I haven't been asked a question for over 1,609 years.
In 9 years? That's a long time.
Are you still in the, oracle business?
You mean like someone comes, makes an offering, priestess sits on a tripod stool over a volcanic vent, says something unintelligible, and another priestess interprets it?
Yeah, like that.
Do you want me to be?
Well, sure, why not?
Well then, yes, I am. It's not like there's a whole lot else to do around here.
Great, but what about the priestesses? Don't you need them?
Don't look at me.
Oh, they're long gone. They only live 100 years or so. Besides, I don't think that they'd like this climate. It's a bit more varied than that of Greece, either ancient or modern.
So, how does this work?
Dave, I'm not sure this is such a good idea.
Why not? It could be fun.
I just need someone to take questions and give out the answers. The rest is window dressing.
Does that person have to be a woman?
No, it was just a habit from when Greece had a shortage of men.
Great. How do we start?
It's already started. Just have someone ask you a question, and you'll know the answer.
I really don't think this is a good idea. So how do we get home from here?
Dave, do you have a minute?
I guess so. Why?
I'd like to ask you about your test scores.
What about them?
They've gone up quite a bit lately.
I've gotten help.
That's right. You and Becky have been together.
Right, we've been studying together.
But apparently only on some things. You're getting perfect scores on what's the answer type questions, but you need to work on your essays. After all, college applications will be here before you know it.
Yeah, we will. I will.
Great. See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye. Becky, what will it take to get you to listen to me?
I am listening. I'm just not believing.
Well, have I ever been wrong?
Frequently.
After our encounter with the Oracle.
Well, no, not that I know of.
So why don't you believe me about this?
Because this is different. It's not just the score of a game or a math problem. It matters.
I know it matters. That's why it's important that you believe me.
Dave, you're saying that the town will be destroyed and that I'm the only one that can save it.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So how did this happen again? It's not the sort of question that comes up out of the blue.
Well, no, it was about the game score. So far, people have been asking me about the upcoming games, and I've gotten the right answer to every question.
And?
Okay, so someone asked me about the homecoming game.
So?
I said there wouldn't be a score. It wouldn't be played.
Why not?
I said that the town would be destroyed first.
You know, that may not have been the smartest thing to say.
I know that, but I couldn't help it. If someone asks a question, I have to answer. It's overpowering.
I think I'm starting to figure out why the Oracle was a long way from anywhere.
Really, I just can't stop myself.
And they made people come up with offerings.
I don't have a choice.
Expensive ones. Okay, so we need to start protecting you from the questions.
That would be nice.
Getting back to the game, what happened next?
Someone asked what the disaster was, but I came up blank. I don't know. It's there, but it's not.
Let me think. Wait, I vaguely recall reading something about this. Weren't the predictions at Delphi unreliable?
No, they were always right.
Unreliable may not be the right word. Maybe open to interpretation, like if you go to war, a country will be destroyed?
Maybe. I don't recall.
Yeah, that's it. Some of the predictions can be interpreted in more than one way.
But a game score isn't one of those. It's just numbers.
Yeah, but destroyed isn't a number, so let's approach this more logically.
Okay.
Now let me think. Homecoming is on the 26th, and it's the 12th now, so that's 2 weeks. Let's split the difference. Will the town be destroyed before the 19th?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? That's a yes-no question.
Yes, but we're not really asking that. You're really trying to find out something else, and it's that something else that I don't know about. Besides, you're probing, which means that my answers affect the question.
Oh. That makes sense, I guess. What was the question that got me involved?
Someone asked if the disaster can be prevented.
And the answer?
Becky. Just your name. Becky.
Wow, I never realized how heavy manure can be.
Yeah, usually I do this myself. You're a good friend to offer to help me with this.
Well, you did sweeten it with going riding after we finished, just like the last 100 or so times we've done this.
With horses, the good points outweigh the bad. There, we're pretty much done. Could you get the hose and wash this out while I cart this stuff away?
Sure. All done, Missy. Can I ride Jarmar again?
Sure, here he is. Where to?
How about up the hill and then down the lake?
Sounds good. Did you hear the latest stuff going around town?
I think so, but it's hard to keep up. What did you hear?
Well, Dad's been going to a whole lot of town meetings in the last couple of days.
What's strange about that? He's on the council and elections are coming up.
Not one's about the elections. These are something else. He won't say what, but he comes home and looks worried about something.
But he doesn't say what?
No, very tight-lipped.
Is anything else going on?
No, nothing. But something's not going on.
What?
You know how we normally go out and close up the cabin about now?
Yeah, I've helped a couple of times. So?
He said not to.
Why on earth not? It's gonna freeze hard soon and no one wants burst pipes.
Yeah, I know.
Is he planning on using it this winter?
We often do, but we still prepare it for winter. And it's not like we stay overnight there. We just use it as a base for skiing.
Weird. There must be some reason, though. Hey, there's the lake. Let's go.
Race you! Haha, beat ya.
Well, you have more practice. Still, you won, so you can cool off first. I'll get the horses.
Okay. Becky?
What?
Becky!
What?
Becky, look!
What? Oh.
The fish!
Are all those fish?
Yeah, there must be hundreds or thousands, maybe even the whole lake full.
Dead?
Yeah, it's dead.
Missy, get out of the water.
Huh?
You don't know what killed those fish. Get out of the water.
Right, getting out now.
Missy, your feet are red.
What? Oh, wow.
Do you feel anything?
No. Wait, no. I don't feel anything. Becky, I don't feel anything. I can't feel my feet.
Let me get the horses. We need to get you back home.
Oh, okay.
Do you have your phone?
No point. No coverage out here.
Let me check mine. No, nothing. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I just can't feel my feet.
Hold on, we'll get you home and call your mom and dad, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mr. Peterson? We're at the house. Missy is fine. She just can't feel her feet. Yeah, I'll call 911 right away. Okay, bye. Missy, your dad said to call 911 right away. He's in town and you know how long it takes to get here. Missy, you're gonna be fine. The EMTs will take you to the ER and your dad will meet them there. I'll meet you there after taking care of the horses and talking with the officers.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Becky. Tell me what happened.
Well, officer, there's not much to tell. Missy and I went riding up to the lake. She had waded in before either of us noticed anything wrong.
What did you see?
Fish. Dead fish. Lots of them. Maybe the whole lake.
Then what?
I told Missy to get out, and then she did. Her feet were red, along with a few places on her legs where the water splashed. Then she said that her feet were numb. We came back here right away and called her dad.
Where's her mom?
In California. She went on a trip with Mary, her mom Melody, and her grandma Jasmine.
Where's this lake?
Well, it's more of a really large pond. It's over there, past the hill.
How far?
Maybe a mile. Somewhat rough. We can take the horses.
Let's hold off on that. I'm going to contact the county health people. Why don't you go catch up with your friend?
So that's what happened at Missy's. She's doing fine, but they said to stay away from the lake.
I heard a little more.
Oh? What?
The county people stopped by to look at my dad's topo maps to check out where the lake drains. It turns out the lake drains into Beaver Creek, which feeds into the main water supply for the town.
So
if you hadn't gone to the lake, whatever's in there would have gotten into our water.
Wow.
Yeah, wow! You saved the town! Got it!
Touchdown! Woo!
Okay, I think I'm ready for that walk.
Great. Hey, Sue, Missy, we're gonna go wandering for a while. Save us some hot dogs?
Will do. Have fun.
Okay. Which way?
How about down by the creek?
Okay. Okay, I think we're far enough away from everyone. So how's the prediction business been going?
Fairly quiet. People have pretty much quit asking me since the prediction about the town.
Still destroyed?
Yep, still destroyed.
And that other thing?
Yes, your name still keeps coming up.
I think that's the part that bothers me the most. Being marked as having the solution, but I don't even know the problem.
Becky.
And time is running out.
Becky.
What?
Look.
Where?
Those trees. They have dead branches piled up.
What's that glint?
Let me get a closer look. Wait, I see now. It's a wire.
It leads all the way up the tree.
This one too.
Here's another one.
They're all around.
Okay, we're on top of the hill. Around us are over a dozen trees with dry brush piled up around their bases and wires leading to the tops.
If they were hit by lightning...
You'll get a really good fire going. And it's been a dry fall.
So, this could destroy the town.
Yeah. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. 2 things. First, we're gonna call the police or someone to let them know about this.
Right. And second?
It's still early. We're gonna pay that Oracle a visit and try to figure out what exactly is going on around here. Once I can buy, 2 times in 2 days, this is getting a bit much. Oracle, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Where else would I be?
Sorry, figure of speech. What exactly is going on around here?
That's a pretty large question. It will take a while to answer. Do you have a few weeks?
No, not really. Let me be more specific. Dave here is your priest. People ask him questions and he gives the correct answer. Right, you only answer questions. Was my previous summary correct as far as it went?
Yes.
Okay, someone asked him about the score for the homecoming game. His response was that there would be no score. The game would never be played. Correct?
Yes.
Next, he was asked why not, and the response was that the town would be destroyed. Again, correct?
Yes.
Finally, someone asked if the disaster could be prevented, and the answer was my name. Am I correct in assuming that my participation is, at the least, necessary to prevent the disaster?
You're good. Yes.
Okay, yesterday, Missy and I found that the lake by her house was infected with something that could destroy the town. This discovery prevented the disaster. Today, Dave and I found a hill of trees that were primed to catch fire and destroy the town. Again, this discovery prevented a disaster. Am I right so far?
Yes.
Today is the 21st. Homecoming is just 5 days away. How many more of these do I have to prevent?
2.
2? You really mean that there are 2 more disasters waiting to happen?
Yes, I said 2.
Who's doing this?
You are. You need to find and disable both in the next 3 days.
3?
Yes.
Oh, right. I was assuming that the disasters would happen on homecoming day. Bad assumption. Okay, then what are they?
I can't answer questions whose answer would directly affect the original problem.
You really know how to make a person's life rough. Okay, so what can you tell me about who is setting these up?
Nothing. There is no who.
Huh? No who? Then maybe a what? Okay, what is setting these up?
There is no what in the sense that you mean. Really, you're going to have to work this out on your own.
This is WICE with the news at the top of the hour. The big story, of course, is that big rumbling that we all felt a little while ago. Apparently, we've had our own earthquake. Just a little one, of course, but it sure was enough to wake us all up. We're still hearing reports of minor damage. The worst so far was that Mrs. Henderson's 35-foot lawn sculpture fell onto her gazebo. When we checked with her, she said, "Not to worry, I'll just adjust my vision to match and keep going." That's the spirit, Mrs. Henderson.
Becky, it's been a while since I studied geology, but aren't we on the Canadian Shield?
I guess so. Why?
Isn't the Canadian Shield one large piece of rock?
Yeah.
Then how did we get an earthquake? Don't they require plates passing over each other, like in California?
Good question. I don't know. Who can we ask?
It's not too late. Let's go back to school and ask Mr. Anderson. He might know. Mr. Anderson?
Oh, hi, Dave. What's up?
We heard and felt that earthquake, and we're wondering something.
What?
How can we get an earthquake here? Aren't we on one big chunk of rock?
The Canadian Shield?
Well, wonders never cease. Someone actually paid attention in class? But now that you mention it, that's a good question. As you pointed out, we are on the Shield, and it is indeed one large chunk of rock, so we shouldn't have earthquakes. Those only happen along fault lines.
But what about Missouri and southwest Minnesota? Didn't they have earthquakes? They're nowhere near the edge of the plate.
Right, but there's more than one type of fault. In both places, there's a really deep fault that can and did slip.
But nothing like that around here.
Nope. At least not that anyone has found. So, if it wasn't an earthquake, what was it?
An explosion?
Well, that would do it. But I expect that someone would have noticed and said something. An explosion big enough to have been felt all over town would be rather hard to hide.
What about a collapse? Didn't there used to be mining around here?
Yeah, now that you mention it, yes. As I recall, there were some deep mines looking for gold. It was too hard to get out to be worth mining, though.
What if those tunnels collapsed? Would it cause the shaking?
Yeah, it might if it were big enough. What's that? Hey, let's check the news.
This is WICE with a flash update. That earthquake that the town felt earlier wasn't a real earthquake after all. Instead, it was the old mining tunnels collapsing. Important. The collapse may have broken some gas lines, so everyone should stay outdoors until the fire department gives the all clear.
Okay, kids, get going. I'll make sure the rest of the school gets evacuated.
Dave, I didn't do anything for that one.
Well, you did figure it out.
No, Dave, you did.
Well, anyways, The alarm was sounded and people are safe.
We need to get ahead of the next one. What do we have so far?
Contaminated water.
Check.
Trees ready to burn.
Check.
Ground collapsing.
Check.
There's one left.
Water. Burning. That's fire. Ground or earth. Dave.
Yes?
Remember the Greek elements? Fire, water, earth, and air?
Yeah. Wait, we just had 3 things. Which one's left?
Well, the lake was water, that's clear.
Yeah, but the trees could be fire or air. Lightning comes from the air, after all.
True, but it would be the fire that did the destruction, so let's stick with the obvious.
Okay. Well, the last one was pretty clearly earth.
Right, that leaves air. So the last one will come from the air.
Yeah, that means wind. Like a windstorm?
A windstorm. Or a tornado.
But how do we stop a tornado?
We don't. We have to figure out what's causing all these to happen and stop that.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, we've both read enough mysteries. Let's go through the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, and why.
So, who?
There is no who. The Oracle said so.
Then what?
Town destroyed. Our best current guess, tornado.
Where?
Well, here, I guess. I mean the town, not this exact spot.
Next is when.
Within the next 2 days.
That leaves us with why.
Yeah. Why? Why would anyone want to destroy the town?
Yeah. It's not like we've ever done anything to anyone. Or at least lately.
Lately?
Well, there were a few battles in the 1800s when the fur traders and miners moved in. And there were probably various major and minor fights over the previous few hundred years. But nothing major, at least that I can recall from my local history.
Okay, but even those are people against people, and there aren't any people involved. I mean, on the attacking side.
I just thought of something.
What?
Well, I'm channeling this multi-thousand-year-old Greek oracle, right?
Right?
Would you consider the oracle to be a who?
Well, we can talk with it, but it just seems to be a disembodied voice.
Yeah, it's intelligent, but not a person per se. It's a what, not a who.
Okay, so?
If there can be one multi-thousand-year-old Greek what, why not more than one?
Oh, God.
No, oh gods. The Greek had lots.
Right. Then, either way, we need to figure out which one.
Well, we could check the internet.
Wow, this is quite a list. There must be hundreds.
Yeah, but most of them either avoid contact with humans or pretty minor. Let's just start with the Olympians. There were only a dozen.
Aphrodite? No. Apollo? No. Ares? Artemis? No, not her. Athena, Demeter, Dionysus. Wait! He includes madness and chaos. Is it him?
Yes, it's him. That's the one.
Okay, let's read on. Yeah, well, he's sure capable of coming up with these disasters. But why?
He doesn't need a reason. Remember the madness part?
Right. I guess I'm not used to thinking this way. So how do we get him to stop? That wind is really picking up.
Becky?
What?
That man over there.
What about him?
Doesn't he look familiar?
No.
I think we saw a picture of him.
Where?
On the computer, when we were reading about Dionysus.
Oh, I think you're right. But I was reading, not looking at the picture.
Well, a stranger who looks like our Greek god?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, let's go talk to him. Hello.
Hello?
I don't recall seeing you before, and I'd like to welcome you to our town.
Why, thank you. It appears to be a nice town.
Well, we like it. If I may ask, would your name be Dionysus?
Yes, I'm he. Why do you ask?
Well, it's like this. This town has just barely avoided being destroyed by several disasters.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, well, we think it might have been caused by someone, and we'd like to figure out how to get them to stop.
The disasters or the person?
The disasters, I guess. I mean, I don't really know anything about the person.
Oh, interesting. Why are you telling me this?
Well, we think that the Greek god Dionysus may be involved.
Oh, now that's very interesting. Certainly not the sort of response someone would normally give.
Well, it's not what you might call a normal situation. You wouldn't happen to be that Greek god by any chance?
Why, yes, I am.
Well, could you please stop?
Well, much as I'd like to, I can't. For the simple reason that I'm not the one causing them. But you now have my interest, and I suspect that you have a story to tell, and your friend here may be the one to tell it.
Me?
Yes. I get the sense you're not exactly a normal teenager.
Well, I was until a couple weeks ago. Then Becky and I were walking in the woods and came across the Oracle.
I suspect that this was not an accident. Continue.
Well, we talked, and I agreed to be his priest, or whatever it's called. I was then able to answer questions that anyone asked. Things like giving the score to a game that hadn't been played yet. Then someone asked about the homecoming game, and I said there wouldn't be a score. I said that the game wouldn't be played because the town would be destroyed.
Oh, my.
And when someone asked if this could be prevented, my name was the answer.
Then Becky found a poisoned lake, and that disaster was prevented. Then the two of us found some trees that had been rigged to burn, and that disaster was prevented as well. Then some old mines collapsed, and that one happened, but the only damage was to a sculpture.
And then we guessed that the next one would be a tornado, or at least a windstorm.
Then we tried to figure out what could cause all this, and, well, your name came to the top of the list.
Amazing. What made you think of Greek gods?
The Oracle said that these weren't caused by a who, but by a what.
So, you spoke with the Oracle about this.
Yeah, but it wasn't all that helpful. It said something about the answers affecting the questions.
I think I'm getting the picture.
Anyways, we figured that if an oracle could be real, so could the Greek god.
Very open-minded, but why me?
Well, when we looked at the descriptions of the Olympian gods, yours was the only one that looked like it fit the pattern of senseless destruction, or at least attempted destruction.
Well, I probably need to get that updated. I haven't been in the destruction business for, well, a couple thousand years. Note that none of it was senseless. It all had a point. However, that's not the main issue here.
So, what is?
I'm a who, not a what. I think that we need to go have a talk with the Oracle. Oracle?
Yes, what is it?
We've got problems.
Yes, I know.
Hey, I thought you could only answer questions. Aren't you having a normal conversation?
Yes, although it's more like I only answer questions from humans. Gods have their own rules.
You've got another feedback loop going.
Yes.
Feedback loop? What's that?
It's when the factors driving the situation amplify instead of canceling. Things just keep getting worse.
Worse? How bad can it get?
Ever hear of Atlantis? Big country, sank beneath the waves.
Oh,
Do you mean that if we can't stop this, it's going to get that bad?
Maybe even worse than that.
worse?
Then how do we stop it?
Oh, the Oracle can't answer. You need to figure it out on your own.
I just knew you were going to say something like that. Okay, we've got to think this through. Dave, when did it start?
Well, when you and I found the Oracle.
True, but I was thinking more like when did things start to go crazy?
Probably when I was asked about the homecoming game.
And that's when my name came up. Okay, before then, what sort of questions were people asking?
Mainly immediate ones, like what's the score going to be for today's game? Or unchanging ones like what's the capital of Montana?
Okay, so there wouldn't be any time for feedback work. But when someone asks about homecoming...
Then feedback would have 2 weeks to work and build.
We've got to stop this.
But how?
You're the link. It's operating through you.
How?
Because you're the priest. If you weren't the priest, you wouldn't be making predictions and we wouldn't be having to deal with their effects.
But I like being the priest.
Do you like that more than having the whole area blown down?
Good point. Oracle, how do I stop being your priest?
I don't know. No one's ever asked for that before.
Oracle, just cancel the power.
Okay.
It's working.
Yes, it worked.
We saved the town.
Yes, it appears you did. Oracle, you may want to reconsider setting up shop again. I think that people are thinking a lot more than they did in Greece.
I think you have a good point there.
So, what happened? Where did all those disasters come from?
Oh, nowhere. Everywhere. Once you collectively set up a situation where the answer to the question affected the question, a feedback loop was set up. Now the world doesn't like such loops. This isn't doesn't like as in, oh, you don't like banana pudding. This is doesn't like as in rocks don't like to fall up. It's the way the world is put together sort of thing.
Okay, with you so far.
Well, when the world doesn't like something in this way, it starts changing things until the cause goes away.
Think of it like scratching an itch.
Yes, but it's a really big itch. As I said before, the last time this happened, Atlantis sank beneath the ocean.
More than that, history was altered to remove Atlantis almost completely. There's no physical evidence left, just a few myths.
So, if we hadn't stopped this?
Well, things would have built until the key factor was removed. That was you. In Atlantis, it was a high priestess, and she was well protected. Atlantis had to be destroyed in order to get to her.
In your case, you could have been killed by any of the disasters. Once killed, they would have stopped. Otherwise, they would have kept building until you were killed.
But why didn't you tell us this to start with?
You never asked.
This has been Becky by Craig Finseth. Your cast featured Jim Yunt as Tom, Cassie Salo as Missy, Caleb Silvers was the police officer, Justin Kapla was the radio announcer, Jeffrey Adams played the Oracle, Douglas Screef was Dionysius, Cody Boyer was Dave, and Autumn Silvers played Becky. Becky was directed by Jeffrey Adams. Sound effects realized and created by Dave Irwin. This program copyright 2013 by the Icebox Radio Theater, which is solely responsible for its content. On the web at iceboxradio.org.